Hey, good morning, everybody. All right, sorry about that. I had some emails that I had to put my attention towards really quick before I could jump on this morning, but we got it. We're okay. We're ready to rock and roll. Good news is with this particular chapter and units, a lot of this is quick, short, sweet, to the point. It is fill in the blank. We're jumping around just a little bit. I know we did section 1 yesterday. Today we're jumping to section 3, you should say 17-3 in your packets. But the good news is that we will be looking at doing some of these activity pages that you normally do by yourself. We're going to work on doing a few of these together. So that is also good news, along with this being a short unit. Okay, so hopefully you saw it the other day. If you need a class calendar emailed directly to you, I can take care of that. Yesterday I posted it. I think I posted it in the class stream. A copy of the October class calendar, and then if somebody still needs links, if you ever miss something that I say during a Zoom, or if I went too fast on something or you forgot something, I have my YouTube channel that is now fully functional. I had messed it up in the beginning, but I figured out what I did wrong. Okay, now a couple of things to talk about to answer some questions. If you guys have any of these questions, I'm prepared now to answer them. So next week does start in-person instruction for freshmen and sophomores. I only have a whopping 3 underclassmen that I teach, and it's just because I have an elective first block. So after 10:10, I am all virtual the rest of the day, and I don't have anybody Wednesday or Thursday because those 3 are just a day. So I'm still going to push our Zoom to 10:30 and 11:30 for the next 2 weeks, just in case. I'm going to still make that change, but I did speak to Wheat. And if you need me and you want to be in person, whether it's taking a test, a quiz, or working on a project or whatever, you are allowed to come on campus and see me anytime after 10:15. Okay, anytime after 10:15, come in. Like I said, I won't have any more students. My classroom will be sanitized. Again, I've only got 3 students. But after those 3 leave me in the morning, I'll make sure my room is nice and fresh and clean for you. And you can come in and see me for reviews, taking tests, anything else that you need. Okay. So I got that cleared this morning just because, and I'm not the only teacher in that situation. There's others that only have upperclassmen. But I just wanted to confirm that before I said anything to you guys. So anyway, I'll be there for you next week, just in a little bit different way, not as early because of first block. So, all right. Like I said, if you need a personal copy of the calendar sent to you, just let me know, and I can just shoot me an email and I'll attach it and send it to you that way if you're not able to open it in the Google Stream. Let's go ahead and get to it and talk about what we have for today, and then we'll talk a little bit more in detail about what is coming up. If you haven't looked at the class calendar already, I would encourage you to do so because we've got some big things in October that we're going to do, projects, midterm, things like that, okay? All right, now, you got your unit packet. We're looking at 17-3, fill in the blank. Follow along with me if you will, and if you miss something, just let me know and I'll go back. Okay. Number 1 says, in the early 1920s, an economic recession, an influx of immigrants, and cultural tensions created an atmosphere of, and I know this is big vocab, but it's disillusionment and intolerance. I don't know how they come up with these words. I didn't come up with that one, but disillusionment and intolerance. We are still facing a lot of intolerance. That we have. This is nothing new. Here's what I want to say. 2020, race riots, issues with race, nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. We have been fighting the issue of race since we were founded as a colony, not as a country, as a colony. All right. So it's almost like tensions rise and then they fade down, and then they rise again and then they fade down. We are on a roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen, a roller coaster of fighting the issue with intolerance and race. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. If somebody asked me if I ever thought things would be 100% world peace, we're hugging it out, loving each other, no matter your race, your ethnicity, your religion, your whatever, gender, no, I'm very sorry. Number one, it is human nature that we are prejudiced, even if you don't want to be, but you know what, here's where it starts, right? Because you can change your opinion, you can change your mindset, all right? Only you decide what you think you like and what you think you don't like, okay? So we, as human beings, have to recognize we're all human, we all bleed. If you cut us open, we all have the same organs, right? Well, you know what I'm saying. Boys and girls are different. I get that. You know what I mean. We got bladders and lungs and stuff. You get it, right? So unfortunately, the issue of racial tensions we see pop up, throughout history, with there being breakouts of violence. All right. Well, we see that happen in the 1920s. We talked about the race riots. The biggest issue here was a lot of African Americans and other minorities have gone out and gotten jobs that they might not have normally been able to get during the war because what reason? Blake, what's happened that they're getting opportunities that they might not normally have gotten?
Who now?
African Americans and other minorities.
In the 1920s.
Well, I mean, prior to the 1920s, how were they able to get?
So whenever the soldiers for the war had to go fight, the minorities were able to get jobs that I guess they usually wouldn't get. So I guess that was their opportunity.
Yeah, and what is going to happen now that soldiers are coming back home? Where's the problem?
They want their jobs back, but there's a problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. You got it. Yeah, that's the problem that is going to start all of this mess, is because when we had millions, ladies and gentlemen, millions of soldiers either drafted or volunteered to go to war, now we have these millions of jobs that are open. So yes, women are taking some of those jobs, but a lot of those jobs are taken by minorities, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans. A majority of those jobs are taken. And these jobs, a lot of them are opportunities that a lot of minorities normally wouldn't be able to get, better positions, management positions, better pay. And that's not something they're going to want to give up. Women are a little bit more, and I shouldn't say all women, because some women are like, man, this is awesome. I like having my own paycheck. I like having independence. Some women are not going to want to give up their jobs, but they know and understand that that's coming, because as a society in the 1910s and 1920s, It is more of a man's world. And women understand in that century and time period that they are expected to be wives and mothers and housekeepers first. So they are not as controversial when it comes to giving up their jobs versus whenever minorities are forced out of jobs. All right, number 2, the blank is a case that reflected fear and prejudice against immigrants. And it is the Sacco and Vanzetti. I'm going to help you spell it, okay? And these are the last names of the guys. Sacco is S-A-C-C-O. I had to make sure I had it spelled right. S-A-C-C-O, Sacco dash Vanzetti. And Vanzetti, whoops, I spelled it wrong, is V-A-N-Z-E-T-T-I. Sacco and Vanzetti case. So this is a very big trial because people all across the United States are watching this. And if you have not gone in on your Google Slides and looked at the 1920s stuff and put this stuff in your notes packet, please make sure you do it between today and tomorrow. The Sacco and Vanzetti case, I'm going to give you a quick run through of the details. These guys were just kind of the wrong place at the wrong time. They're both immigrants. That's a strike against them. They're both anarchists, and an anarchist is somebody who doesn't believe in government. That's another strike against them. And when the police arrive to go in and investigate a murder, these guys are found at the scene of the crime. They're taken, they're locked up, and they are found guilty and executed. But they are found guilty on very sketchy evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, here in the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. At least we give you the benefit of the doubt. If you were to go to another country, Great Britain is a good example. In Great Britain, you're guilty until proven innocent. So at least we give you the benefit of the doubt, okay? These guys were convicted on very sketchy evidence. You know, you're not supposed to be found guilty by a jury of your peers unless it is, you know, beyond a reasonable doubt. Like there is no doubt in their mind that you did that crime, okay? That was not true for these guys, okay? They looked at them because they were immigrants from Eastern Europe. They looked at them because they were anarchists that didn't support government, and they thought they were anti-American and all the things. And they pretty much convicted these two guys because they just assumed these guys definitely did it. They would have done something awful like this. And these guys were executed, people. All right, they weren't just thrown in jail. They lost their lives based on a horrible decision that happened in a court case. This case goes down in history because people's eyes were opened that you can't do that. You can't go around killing people on sketchy evidence just because you don't like who they are or you don't like what they believe in. You cannot do that, all right? Especially if we advertise that the United States is the land of the free. You know, you can't do that. So I'm sorry to say that sometimes bad things have to happen for change to come, and that is a great example, all right? All right, number 3, guess what? Because of these issues with race arising, we do have a surge in membership. Number 3, the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, claimed it was fighting for what they called Americanism. There's yet another word for today. Fighting for Americanism. And had nearly, listen to this, 4 million, that's your answer for the second blank, 4 million members by 1924, okay? That's another thing, you know, we see kind of this, like I said, ebb and flow of this feeling of racism and nativism and memberships in groups like this rise and fall as the times change and issues change. All right, number 4 says, according to the Emergency Quota Act that's going to be put in place, only 3% of the total number of people in any ethnic group, that's your answer, ethnic group, already living in the U.S. could be admitted in a single year. So after World War I is over, we're going to put up this emergency quota system to limit, and in some countries' situations, we almost stop allowing immigrants. We're going to stop allowing immigrants from Central European powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Empire, all right? We are going to be prejudiced against these countries after World War I. We're going to limit immigrants coming in from other countries that we normally would allow in. We're kind of keeping a close eye on Russia. They did fall to communism. We're keeping a close eye on a few other nations that we're worried about. And like I said, some countries we completely stop immigrants from coming in for a period of time because of this resurgence in these nativist feelings. All right, number 5 says, the National Origins Act of 1924 deliberately used data from the 1890 census. That's your answer. 1890 census. All right, now, hopefully you know by now what a census is. Why? Because it's 2020, and 2020 is a census year. All right, Parker, blow me away. What is a census? Tell me, throw it at me.
I have no idea.
Okay, all right, it's all good. Okay, now this is something that it probably has been a while because it's something that you probably haven't talked about since you were in civics, and depending on how long ago that was, I get it. But a census is a population survey taken every 10 years. Every 10 years. So if it's 2020, we haven't had a census since 2010, right? So why do we do a census? All right, every 10 years. It looks at our population, all right, at the national level, how many people are in the United States, at the state level, how many people are in North Carolina, and that's really important information. Again, if you remember back to civics, because North Carolina's number matters for a couple of reasons. Number one, it matters because that decides how much money our state gets for things like education, transportation, National Guard, all those big things. It also matters because of our representation. If our number goes up, we can have more representatives in the House, in Congress. That's always big things. The more people you have, the bigger say you have. So those are a lot of things that it impacts, all right? So it also tells what country everybody's coming from when they fill it in. If you are new to the United States, it's a lot of information, but it's good information to know. All right, number 6 says employers deliberately needed laborers for 3 things. Here you go. You ready? Agriculture, that's your first blank. Agriculture, mining, and railroad. Agriculture, mining, and railroad work, and immigrants from Mexico filled this need. Number 7 says many groups that wanted to restrict immigration also feared the new mortality that glorified youth. That's your first blank, youth, Y-O-U-T-H, youth, and personal freedom. That's your second blank. Personal freedom. Okay. All right, let's keep it rolling. Number 8 says many women in the 1920s wanted to break free from, we kind of talked on this a little bit, traditional roles. That's your first blank for number 8. Traditional roles. Again, some of them are no longer happy being stay-at-home moms and housewives. To break free from traditional roles and expected behavior. That's your last blank for number 8 is behavior. Behavior. Again, women don't want to be seen as second-class citizens. We don't want to be just seen and not heard. We want a voice. Women don't yet have the right to vote. All right, we're getting ready to talk about that with the 19th Amendment. We talked about it a little bit last week, I know, but not much. But we are, remember, whoop, whoop, 2020, we are celebrating the centenary, the 100th year anniversary that women have been allowed the right to vote. Our participation and help during World War I is what gave us that edge. But a lot of men believed women didn't have a place in politics. Women shouldn't have a voice in politics. And so the 1920s see this change in the persona of a woman. All right. Our story that we're going to do tomorrow is talking about a flapper. A flapper is the modern woman of the 1920s. She smokes, she drinks, she wears makeup. What? She cuts her hair. She exposes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. The woman of the 1920s exposes her knees. Yeah. Her dress shows her knees. Yeah. And sometimes it shows shoulders and elbows. Yeah, I know, right? Showing knees, shoulders, and elbows. Oh my God, right? I mean, come on, you know? I'm joking. I hope you honestly get that I'm joking, because in 2020, there's a lot of ladies that, let me just say, Victoria has already showed all her secrets. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, okay? All right, let's finish up. Number 9. Number 9 says a blank flapper. I answered that a few minutes ago. Number 9 is flapper. Flapper. A flapper was a woman who personified the fashion and social changes of the 1920s. Number 10 says many Americans embraced the new morality while others feared the loss of traditional values. That's your answer for 10. Traditional values. Okay, all right, last few. We're almost done. Number 11, evangelist, and I'm gonna help you spell this. Evangelist Amy, and that's A-I-M-E-E. A-I-M-E-E, McPherson. M-C-P-H-E-R-S-O-N. Evangelist Amy McPherson conducted revivals and faith healings in a flamboyant theatrical style. We're going to see kind of a second great awakening, a religious revival come about in the 1920s. Number 12, here's another big trial. Number 12, the Scopes monkey trial. Squeeze it in. Squeeze it in the best you can. Scopes is S-C-O-P-E-S. Scopes monkey trial was about the teaching of evolution in schools. For the very first time in the 1920s, we are teaching evolution. We were teaching creationism, which is the idea of Adam and Eve and how humans were created. Well, for the first time in the 1920s, we were talking about Darwin's theory of evolution, evolving from apes, and for the first time ever, it's being taught in schools. That was a really big deal. All right, 13 says, the 18th Amendment specifically granted federal and state. For 13, federal and state governments the power to enforce prohibition. Again, prohibition, 18th Amendment, no more alcohol, no more selling, consuming, or distributing alcohol. Alcohol is illegal in the United States for 10 years. For 10 years, no more alcohol. So remember this, the 18th Amendment takes away alcohol, the 21st Amendment brings it back and makes it legal again. And you know how I can keep up with that, with my amendments? You can't drink at 18, but you can at 21. That's how I keep up with it, you know? 18th Amendment, no more alcohol. 21st Amendment brings it back, okay? All right, last two, and we're done for today. Number 14 says, as the Treasury Department struggled to enforce prohibition, hold on. Organized crime, that's your blank, sorry. Organized crime. Gangsters coming in the 1920s, all right? Yeah, gangsters, Al Capone. You know, this is where we're souping up the beginning of making cars and automobiles. We're souping up cars. It will lead to NASCAR, but we're rum runners, right? We're taking illegal alcohol and trying to get away from the police to sell the illegal alcohol. So organized crime becomes really bad in the 1920s during Prohibition. And last but not least, number 15, Prohibition ended in 1933. That's your first blank. Your first blank is 1933 with the ratification of, I already gave you the answer, 21st Amendment. The 21st Amendment. All right, guys, that's it. Tomorrow I'll get with you and help you work on a couple of those review sheets because a few of them might be a little confusing. So I'll get you going on those reteaching and vocabulary activities, okay? All right, questions, comments, concerns, or anything that you missed? Everybody's okay? Everybody want to give me the thumbs up? So I know that we're good. No questions. Yes. Yay. There we go. Okay. There we go. Yes. Thumbs up. Oh, look at that. I get to see faces. Man, I'm so lucky on this Wednesday. Get to see faces today. All right, guys. Happy Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.